Well, Ulysses, something that hasn't gotten a lot of play that I've seen, but should be worth mentioning. The Rays will be adding to their newly created Team Hall of Fame with, I think we can agree, a very deserving choice.
Yes, it is. And we're going to talk about how Dave Wills is going to be that guy and who could possibly be joining Dave this year, being inducted starting right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on the social medias, X and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and email us anytime. Love mailbag questions and episodes. LockedOnRays@gmail.com. Well, Ulysses, this was a little bit of a footnote in some Rays news that I was checking up on, and it is that Dave Wills, of course, the longtime Rays radio broadcaster who passed away last year, will be inducted into the Franchise Hall of Fame during a pregame ceremony on April 14th, and something we will get to. Another induction is expected, likely a former player later in the season. We will discuss that, but first should note that, couldn't be more of an obvious no-brainer choice for the Rays brass to make this move of putting Dave Wills alongside Zimmer, Boggs, and Carl Crawford.
Hands down, I think if we have ever come in as a group of people to say 100% this is the right move, we have found a thing. We have found a thing where 100% of the people would be just clapping for this to happen. And this is it. Dave Wills, he deserves it. So many calls and memories and good times that are tied to his voice. If you're a Rays fan, so many, and we talked about it last year when we were remembering him, and this because of me in college. I worked as a Jimmy John's delivery driver in that 2013 season in the summer. I was delivering away, and it was Dave and Andy in my car, and it can be tough for obviously depending on the generation that you're in, but the younger generations are not used to just sitting down and just listening to radio.
Right.
We're not. So that is a skill that you have to kind of teach yourself. It's kind of like drinking beer. All right, bad simile here, but nobody in the history of ever has ever just taken the first sip of beer and be like, oh wow, this is really good. This is what you guys are. No, everybody has gone, oh my God, this is awful. This is
acquired taste.
This is crap. Yeah, it's an acquired taste. For younger generations listening to radio for baseball, it's like that. And I'm sure that it's kind of the same for football and basketball. I wouldn't know. But and they made it so easy, and they were so good at it, and their partnership and Dave and Andy, and you learn so much baseball from your play-by-play guys. Obviously, your parents teach you the game, your family members, anybody. For me, it was my dad, my uncle, but I've also been taught by Dave Wills and Andy Freed and Dwayne and BA and everybody else. These guys are with you for 162 bleeping games if you're an obsessed baseball fan. So very deserved. And I think every Rays fan misses his voice, and I think it's incredibly well deserved.
They better have a 5-10 minute video tribute or highlight tribute of just call after call after call, memory after memory after memory. Because there are a lot of them. Just go to YouTube and type in Dave Wills signature calls, and you'll have your pick of the litter. I mean, the Rays go into the World Series numero uno, first time with Aki stepping on first. That was him. That was the lead play-by-play guy. But you hit the nail on the head with, look, no disrespect to the current iteration, but it's just not the same without Dave and Andy and Dave. They were so good that, and I'm probably not alone in this, that there were times where I may have gotten more enjoyment out of just listening to them doing chores or going to the gym or whatever than sitting on the TV and listening and watching the television broadcast. I would get so crazy and obsessed and enjoyed them so much that I would find ways to sync up the radio call with the television broadcast because I wanted to hear Dave and Andy versus the alternative at times because they were so vivid and so colorful and could paint a picture so well. And that's what you have to do in radio versus when you're doing television. You can, kind of let the scene set and breathe a little bit. And just their together, the tag team of them, their energy, their enthusiasm, their quick wit, some of the inside jokes, their knowledge of baseball. I think that was the other thing about Dave Wills. He didn't boast that he was a former college baseball player, that he was a former college baseball coach. Like he was knowledgeable, but down to earth and seemed like you could have a conversation with him without him being one of those types of, do you know who I am? Look at me type of guy. He seems like you see him at the bar or at a restaurant, you could go up and say, hey, and have a lighthearted conversation, that he was just, one of us, so to speak.
And the times that I saw him around the ballpark, that's exactly how he was. People would come up to him and he was just like another dude, that it's another Rays fan. Like he was just very gregarious and approachable and so friendly. And you're right. Like he was able to toe that line, and Andy does this too, where you're so knowledgeable, but because you're so knowledgeable, there's two things. One, you don't sound arrogant, which is a fantastic trait. And two, you're able to, for those that don't know, you're not condescending, but you make it accessible for them to also get that knowledge. That's fantastic. And he was able to do that. And I don't know if it's a little bit of a cliche or maybe too on the nose, but with those Hawaiian shirts of his, it'd be pretty cool that when he's inducted, sometimes, they get like the jerseys and all that. Like it'd be cool if, a microphone would be dope, but a Hawaiian shirt with Wills and his favorite number, that I think that would be a pretty cool inside joke for the Rays fandom, which by the way, it's a Rays Hall of Fame. So it is for us. It is for Rays fans. So an inside joke that we all understand why it's a Hawaiian shirt. I think that would be a pretty cool thing.
Oh my gosh, you need to be on their marketing team. Giveaway day, promo day, April 14th, is it?
Think so,
they better be given some sort of Dave Wills related swag, Hawaiian shirt preference. I know that it might not be cost feasible, but hey, do it to the first, 1,000 entrants or something like that. There's got to be some sort of ode or homage to him. And I'd even accept, I know the Hawaiian shirt maybe, they might not want to pay for it, but at the very least, bobblehead microphone with Dave. I mean, that's got to be, that's like the bare minimum, I would think, something to that ilk. And I don't think that it gets enough credit. Stu Sternberg and his cohorts, it was them that hired Andy Fried and Dave Wills, making that decision in 2005, and how long lasting that relationship was. In fact, if what happened to Dave didn't happen, Andy and Dave would be lifers, I think, just about. I mean, they consistently, nobody was calling for their heads.
Nope.
People loved them. Not just within the Rays organization and the fan base, but across baseball. They consistently got high marks as they're one of the 1, 2, 3, 4 best broadcast crews in the entire sport. And just a testament to him. Yeah. Just a testament to Dave Wills too. If you look back at his history of You know, a lot of people nowadays, they don't want to have to work to get to the top, but he had to grind. I mean, he was doing Class A games in Kane County, Illinois, and working pregame show here, pregame show there, postgame show here, postgame show there. Like, it was a career in the making. It wasn't just, oh, he retires from coaching and he has a cushy gig. Like, you could probably tell some stories about, you know, maybe not having enough money for certain things or having to sleep on friends' couches to make it all work. Just saying.
Yeah, no, again, down to earth, right? So no, I think this is a fantastic thing. Speaks to his character, what you're saying. It's going to be a lovely thing, a lovely time to all of us to remember him. And, you know, throughout the season, I think it was really cool that most teams were kind of, you know, leaving like a little flower or something, remembering him for the radio crew to see when they got to the ballpark, and hey, like just an acknowledgement. I thought that was really classy for all of those organizations that did that, you know, especially, you know, the Chicago White Sox, where he was such a big part of that franchise for so long. So I'm very happy about this, that this is happening.
Yeah, it'll be that'll definitely be a game to go to for sure. Per our opening there, Dave Wills will likely not be the only addition to the Rays Hall of Fame. So the question is, who's next? Who's that individual going to be that goes in alongside him after him this upcoming year? We'll discuss next, but first, Ulises, we have to tell the audience something very important.
That's right. And you know what? Maybe for that weekend of baseball, you can get your tickets using Game Time, because Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. Okay, look, you can see the view from the seats before you buy, so you know exactly what you're going to get. All the in prices show your total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal before you check out. And you can buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. So today you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. You can download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, locked on, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Before we go into additional Team Hall of Fame additions, this is totally off the wall, I guess, to some extent, but what do you think about Dave Will's Twitter account just sitting there not having a post since March of 2023? Do you think it should be shuttered? The family should take it over or make some sort of comment of, it's just like every once in a while I'll kind of find myself there and it's like, oh yeah, he's not here anymore. It's just a kind of a weird feeling. It's hard to examine it, I suppose.
You know, this is a good example, but it's odd that, you know, there are, with this like social media and Facebook and, you know, in the beginning it was like MySpace and all that, you know, when people die, they're like, life is still up there, like their profile is still up there.
Yeah.
Like, it's just an odd feeling. You know, I've had friends from school pass away, and their you know, Facebook is still up, and it's just like they're just stuck in time. And
it's a digital imprint
weird
of them, digital fossil.
Yeah, it's just an odd time. We've never had this happen before, so I don't think we as a society know really how to deal with this, because, you know, you look at your life, you know, everybody has like your fingerprint for your phone, right? Or your Face ID. So like, how do people get onto somebody else's phone? You know, like, and then how to change the password if they were password protected, like all of these things. And so like, it just gets stuck in time. And I don't know, it's a weird thing. I think some people might find solace in that. Yeah. Like, hey, I can, you know, these were their words and I can see what they posted and all that, and remember them kindly and fondly. But there's also another way that people can look at it and be like, it's kind of morbid, you know, like it's sad.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to one point, you can look back and sort of cherish or share in those memories of his pictures and him spending time with family or
Yeah.
celebrating a graduation or something like that, knowing that, he had a lot of good in his life, I guess you could say. All right. So moving on here, how do we want to tackle this? Next inductee into the Rays Hall of Fame. To reiterate, we have Crawford, we have Boggs, we have Zimmer. We'll soon have Dave Wills, and we'll have a mystery entrant, according to one Mark Topkin.
So, first off, I chose a pitcher. Did you choose a pitcher or a hitter?
I chose a hitter, but let me frame it like this. Do you legitimately believe that the next pick will be a pitcher, or did you pick a pitcher based on the intel that I was likely going with a hitter? Or are you pretty resolute that this guy is going to be
I had two picks. I had two picks. One as a hitter and one as a pitcher.
Okay, that's fair.
So if you would have said either way, I would have had the other one pick, because, like, again, we're in the second year, folks. So you have to think a little bit down the road. Like, some time has passed. Like, they definitely have to be retired.
Yeah.
They have to be great, at least in the Rays front office, and at least in the Rays record books. It's a Rays Hall of Fame. Like, you can't just put. Like, I love Dan Johnson. Everybody should love Dan Johnson. Dan Johnson is not going to go into the Rays Hall of Fame.
No, he goes on a YouTube clip. He goes on maybe a video clip. That's about it.
He needs a statue. I would be completely cool with a statue of Dan Johnson in the new Publix Park. By the way, 100%.
We're talking a big statue or like a mini statue. I don't know if I'm with you there. I think
I'm talking. Maybe a bust. Can we compromise with a bust?
Perhaps a bust, but there better be a lot of other bust in there as well. Better be a busty bust.
It's a busty bust.
Yeah.
So taking all this into account, it has to be James Shields. It has to be. In my view, because look, last year I think there was some inkling. Last year he threw out the opening day ceremonial first pitch wearing the Devil Rays jersey. Looks good on him. Officially retired as a Rays player doing that. He is not only the Rays all-time leader in starts at 217, but he's also the all-time Rays leader in wins with 87, complete games 19. By the way, that's sticking. Shutouts 8, that's sticking. And innings 1,454 and 2/3. That's sticking too, folks.
Yeah, based on the way of pitcher usage and pitching salaries and injury histories.
No one's ditching that.
It's going to take quite a feat to take down that mantle.
No one's touching complete game shutouts and innings and wins. Well, I don't think so either. Unless there's a, Junior Caminero pitching guy, Tosh Bradley, Shane Bosk, but they're gonna get expensive through ARB, so you might as well tie them up. It's just, I think James Shields has to be that guy because of the immovable nature of his records.
It's funny. At first I was kind of, look, no disrespect to James Shields, what he has done for the organization is remarkable. But now that you explain all the numbers in the feats, that rings a bell. And then I have a little bit of a conspiracy theory as to why he could be the next retired player that gets in. I will tell you that after some very important words from FanDuel. Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from, I said it, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3 or more. Not only can you bet on who will win the big game, that is Super Bowl 58, but also FanDuel has bets for which players will score a TD, how many points will be scored, and so much more. New customers join today, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. So go ahead, visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn, LOCKEDON to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. With James Shields, a little bit of a harking back to an episode from a couple weeks ago. I would not give him a BBWAA Hall of Fame vote, but I would give him a Rays team franchise Hall of Fame vote. I think there are big differences there, and he deserves to be in one versus the other. But my conspiracy theory or hypothesis is perhaps if the Rays can delay it enough that the next position player that they want to enter their team Hall of Fame is Evan Michael Longoria. Yeah. If they can make it happen. Wade Boggs makes sense. Carl Crawford makes sense. Maybe go with the pitcher and then Longo.
Could it be? Do you think that the order of operations matters here, where you can't induct another position player before Evan?
I think there is one other position player that I think they could get away with inducting before Evan.
I think and it would make more sense. Okay, so should we say it at the same time?
We'll do a countdown of 3. 3, 2, 1. Fred McGriff.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fred McGriff.
That's who I have. And I was legitimately thinking Ben Zobrist, who I think eventually will get in. Yeah. But I just figured, okay, Wade Boggs played 2 years and 200+ games with the then Devil Rays. Fred McGriff, also a Tampa native like Boggs. I think that works in his favor. Yeah. Parts of 5 seasons with the Devil Rays. 577 games in a uniform with very good numbers. He wasn't a slappy by any means during his tenure with the organization. And now that he's in the big Hall of Fame, then you can slip him into the little Hall of Fame. So that was kind of my line of thinking of you induct McGriff, maybe you get around to inducting James Shields next year. And then maybe it gets to the point of you're ready to throw in Longoria and then Ben Zobrist after that. And then we can go on down the line, or how much further down the line we should or could go.
You know, it would make chronological sense to go McGriff before Shields. I think that would. Do you think that goes into the Rays Hall of Fame? Because like they started with Crawford, which I mean, obviously, like he is the first, Rays guy to be born and bred through the organization and be a star. So it makes sense, but it's not like he was 98. So maybe he's just like an outlier. And then with Wade Boggs, what you're doing is, okay, then really we're starting here and we're going to, catch up to.
I would think that you could almost put Longoria and Crawford on even playing fields, and it just kind of worked out where, Crawford was older and retired, and it was like, okay, well, now we're in a position to throw him in there. Whereas I think there's a drop off between Longoria and Crawford in that next group of names. Not a huge drop off from, those two to Zobrist, but I don't think
there's a drop off.
Zobrist had the chrome or the cachet of Crawford. And
no, look, I don't think we are speaking ill of our dearly beloved Ben Zobrist here by saying that there is a drop off between Crawford, Longo, and then Zobrist. But I'm thinking if McGriff goes today, this year, Shields next year, so then that would be 25. So you need 2 more to do before the lease is up.
Oh, so are you saying that maybe the Rays really wait on Longo, throw some other guys in there, And then he's the showstopper for the new stadium.
He's number 1 in the new stadium. Here you
Mm.
go. Or you could be like, hey, in order to close out the Tropicana Field experience on the last year, Evan Longoria is going to get inducted at Tropicana Field last year in 2027. Like, you could play it both ways.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would have more of a punch to be like the first year of the first stadium.
That would be special. Longo Park, let's do it. Or if it's the final year, going from the old stadium to the new stadium, at least let Longo press the button that demolishes the whole building.
Yes.
Caves it down.
Yes.
Talk about a TV-worthy moment there.
Dude, I'm in. I'd pay to see that clip.
Hey, he hit bombs in the Trop, so why can't he do it outside the Trop as well?
Hit this nuke. Yeah.
Yeah. Question, while we're getting on this team Hall of Fame discussion, which was a very shrewd decision by the organization, 25 years in existence, to establish and mark this up. If there was one Rays player on the current roster that you would put green Skittles on to say one day they will be in the team Hall of Fame, who would that be?
On the current team?
On the current team. And please don't say Wander Franco.
When is that ever?
A year ago at this time, we could have said that. We would have said that. But we're not in a position to say that anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Current team. I could see 40-man or 26-man.
Either or.
Okay. I could see McClanahan.
Okay.
I could see McClanahan doing that. Hitting wise, I could see if Brendan Lau is healthy for a couple more seasons and plays through his very friendly, team-friendly deal, I could see Brendan Lau doing that. But honestly, my number 1 pick would be Yandy Diaz.
Okay, that's fair.
Because
you wonder if there's like a time frame outside of Wade Boggs, of course, that a player has to be with the organization before they kind of get the goodies to say, okay, they've been with the organization long enough to merit that mark.
What would that be for you? How many seasons would a player have to be with the team in order to be in the Rays Hall of Fame?
I think it has to be similar to, if not more so than Fred McGriff. I think Fred McGriff, well, Wade Boggs, he's still in money here, but it's got to be at least 5 years and probably more like 6, 7, 8.
For me, at least 5.
Yeah.
And
you better be like really, really special in those 5. So I don't even know if Randy makes it that long, quite frankly.
Yeah, exactly. Randy might not. That's why I didn't put Randy on there. It's just because I think the length of time means something. Again, Wade Boggs is just an outlier. I don't think you can put somebody in the team Hall of Fame with 3-4 years. And Randy has done amazing things, incredible things in a Rays uniform, of course. But for example, Yandy has been with the team since 19. So that's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that's 5 seasons already that he's got on his belt. And if you look at the top 10 career batting Rays franchise records, Yandy Diaz not only is in some of them, but in some of them, he already is leading the category. People on base percentage, who has that? Yandy Diaz.
Mm-hmm. And I know I'm not going to get into the whole arbitration figures, but we saw a comment earlier this week of, somebody giving out a hot take that Randy would get a long-term contract extension. Just one issue with that. Scott Boras represents Randy Arozarena. Scott Boras isn't playing ball with the Rays.
Or extensions. Yeah. He doesn't play with that. So
that's true.
Yeah.
So, that's and maybe this is another discussion down the line of, hey, does Kevin Kiermaier deserve to be in? Does David Price deserve to be in? Will they get in? Carlos Pena. Scott Kazmir. We just go on down the docket.
DJ Upton.
Yeah. That might be.
We have to maybe
might have to explore that a little bit.
Plan out this for another episode and see like which Rays players could potentially make this Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah, talk about potential. He had so much more potential. Look, he did good things in his career, no doubt. made a lot of money, and did some really special things, but there was so much potential for him to be like really, really, really good, if not great.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on the Team Hall of Fame and all of that. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you on Friday.